Have you ever thought about how the conversation you have with yourself could be shaping and creating your future? If your inner dialogue, if your inner chatter is filled with doubt, frustration, limitation, you're going to keep getting the same results over and over and over again, no matter how hard you work. But I'm telling you, see, when you change the way that you speak to yourself on the inside, everything on the outside starts to shift. And I use this exact same method. It helped me change my business yearly income into a monthly income. And the results were just so dramatic. And the change was so dramatic that it shifted me to become a coach with Bob Proctor and get this information out to more people. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can start today and create a completely different reality, completely different results for yourself. But before getting into this video, I want to share that I have free access to a 2-hour workshop because this video is going to get into a deep concept, but there's so much more. And I'm going to give you access to that video, that 2-hour workshop today after this video. So if you're serious about making changes, you want to grow, you want to make dramatic improvements in your results, then make sure you go to the link in my description and access that free today. I want you to make a committed decision. You're going to sit down, you're going to give that workshop your full attention. There's a follow along workbook that you can print out, and it's going to expand on everything you learn and help you implement the changes so you can start today. And I promise you, you will never think the same way again. Now, back to what I want to talk to today. We've got control of one thing in this world and one thing only, and that is our thoughts, that is our thinking. What you need to understand about that is that everything on your outside world is a reflection of what's going on the inside of you. And until you change what's going on the inside of you, you're not going to make any difference in your results. So for most people then who are really trying to make this change on the inside, they don't have an image or a picture to work from. And this is a really important thing to know is because as human beings, you and I, we think in pictures. So if I was to ask you, what does your front door look like? Or what does your car look like? An image of your car, an image of your front door would flash to the screen of your mind. And that's the problem I'm finding with most people who are trying to make this change in their reality. In order to change that, in order to change the results, they've got to change something that's going on the inside. But they don't know what that looks like. What they're trying to change is their mind. Now, when we think of your mind, maybe if I said to you, like, what do you think the mind looks like? You probably would come up with an image of your brain. But your mind is not your brain. You know, if I was to open you up today, I would find your brain inside of your head, this physical thing. But you're never going to find your mind because your mind is not a thing. Your mind is an activity. So we need an image to help us see how we can change our mind. So we need this image of our mind so we can work with this. And I want this diagram to represent you and your mind. Now the top circle is your mind, and the bottom circle is your body. Now there are two parts to the mind. This top part is going to represent your conscious mind, and the bottom part is going to represent your subconscious mind. Now, to change your reality, to change your results in life, we've got to change what's going on in here, what's going on in your subconscious mind. And it's really important to know that the language, so to speak, that your subconscious mind understands is emotions or feeling. Okay? So to change what's going on in the inside of our subconscious mind, we need to change our emotions. In order to do that, we really need to change how we speak to ourselves. We need to change our thoughts. And the reason why we need to change our thoughts is because if you're walking around and you're having a conversation with yourself saying, I've got no money, or my life's a mess, or I'm not confident enough, or I'm too old to change, those thoughts you're having are impressing upon your subconscious mind. These thoughts are coming in here, I'm not good enough, and you're impressing this on your subconscious mind, and it's causing you to feel the way you feel. So if you're not talking good about yourself or good to yourself, you're not going to feel great. Now, there is another word for emotion, and that is vibration. Now, you might be thinking, what does that feel like? When we're having thoughts, we're speaking to ourselves, we're saying, I'm not good enough, or whatever, I'm not where I want to be in life. These create emotions, and your emotions then create a vibration. And it's your vibration that creates the actions or activates you to take the actions in your life. And this word vibration, you're like, what is that? What's it feel like in real life? And the way I describe it is, have you ever walked into a room and you felt like the atmosphere was off, like somebody had an argument? Or if you go to a concert or you walk into a bar and you feel like the atmosphere is electric, that atmosphere is actually vibration that you are subconsciously picking up. Isn't that really cool? So your emotions are in control of your vibration, and your vibration is in control of your actions. And this controls everything that you attract in this world. So if you're speaking to yourself, you're having negative thoughts about yourself, it's going to be impossible for you to change your reality, for you to change your results to something that you want. And we all have this energy that's flowing into our consciousness all the time. Now, it's not good or bad, it just is. And for this example's sake, let's just call it thought energy. Okay? So it's the thoughts that you have, the way that you speak to yourself is either causing it to be good thought energy or bad thought energy. So if you started to have thoughts like, you know what, I'm amazing. I am so blessed. Everything is working out for me. If we were getting used to speaking to ourselves in this positive way, how would this then look like? I'm going to break it down. So we're having a positive thought. I'm amazing at what I do. I'm so lucky. It's going to create a positive emotion in our subconscious mind. And it's whatever we get emotionally involved with here that sets up the physical vibration in your body. Okay? And the thing about vibration is it doesn't stay in your body. It must be expressed. Okay? This is your vibration, like zooming out of your body. Okay? And your vibration is always expressed in your actions. Okay? So it's your actions that produce the results that you get in life, what you're experiencing. So if people want to change the results, you've got to own what you're doing. You've got to own your actions. To change your actions, you must change your vibration. To change your vibration, you must change your emotions and change the way that you feel. And the way to do that is changing your thoughts and what you are getting emotionally involved with. And to do that, you've got to change how you speak to yourself. You've got to change that inner dialogue. Now, does this make sense? You can let me know in the comments. Does this make sense? Are you starting to see maybe where you've been going wrong and how you can change the results you're getting in life? Now, it's not this new results, these new improved life, it's not going to change, it's not going to happen for you unless you tackle your thinking, the way that you speak to yourself. You need to change that inner dialogue. You need to change that story you're telling yourself on repeat over and over again. Like there's nothing worse than having that wee voice in your head, that critic always in your ear. I was there for years. I was telling myself, you need to be smart to make a lot of money. Money's hard to earn. There's not plenty of around, like money, there's not a lot of money around, and the only way to get money is to get a good job. Like that's how I was brought up. And you keep telling yourself these different things and you keep trying things. And that's what I was doing. I was trying all these things and nothing was happening. And what I came to realize, and what you will come to realize, is that it's really not about working any harder, about doing more. Okay. It's about this thinking process and the way that you speak to yourself. And I want you to be really honest with yourself. What are the dominant conversations you're having? Like, what are your dominant thoughts? Not about anything else, but just about you. What do you really think about you? What's that thought process on repeat? It's not about the conversations you're having with your friends or your partner or your kids or your colleagues. I mean, like, how do you speak to yourself when you're alone? When you're driving your car, when you're standing in the shower, when you're cooking dinner? All this here is happening in your consciousness. And the interesting thing about this is that 5% of our conscious mind controls our results. So only 5% of what goes on in here, in our conscious part of our mind, controls our results. In our subconscious mind, it controls 95% of our results. That's like our entire life. And your conscious mind is your thinking mind. This is where all your thoughts happen. And right now, you listen to me, you can hear my voice. Maybe you've got a little voice and you're making assumptions, you're making ideas about what I'm talking about. But that little voice is telling you it never goes away, it never shuts its wee face. So it doesn't. And every single person has it. And when it comes to our thoughts as a human being, on average, according to this doctor called Fred Luskin from Stanford University, we've got 60,000 thoughts per day. 60,000 thoughts per day. And the scary thing about that is 90% of them are repetitive. So we're thinking the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay? And these can be a mixture of positive and negative things. But the thing about these thoughts, these 60,000 thoughts that are racing into our consciousness every single day, is that unless we get emotionally involved with them, right, they won't have any impact on our results. It's all about mixing it with emotion. And our conscious mind, it's just the part of the mind where we just pick up all our knowledge, right? We store all our information, we learn all our stuff, all the things you learn at school or you learn at work, you know, it's all in there. And I think about all the things I learned at school that I don't even use. But when I started into personal development and I started like, oh, I want to make my business better, I started to read more books on how to grow my business. And then I got into this book called The Miracle Morning. I started to read it, and then a friend recommended the book The Secret. And I started to read it, but nothing changed. Nothing changed from those books. And the reason is really simple. All I was doing in that moment in time was I was just gathering more information, more knowledge. And all this knowledge just gets stored up here. But this is not the part of the mind that is controlling our results. It's not controlling the movement. It's not controlling the actions that we take. It's your subconscious mind that is controlling 95% of your actions, your emotions, your decisions. So this part of your mind, your subconscious mind, is controlling 95% of your life. And if your subconscious mind is not reprogrammed, you're never going to create a new reality for yourself. Okay? And if you do, it'll be slight and it'll be temporary. Because you might have tried to change your actions before, and then after a few days, right, you slip off and you go back to your own way. That's because motivation is not enough to permanently change your results. It'll always be temporary. And this is where most people get stuck. And then they repeat what I call patterns of doom, right? Year after year, the same results. And then they get more and more and more frustrated because they know more, right? They keep reading the books and they're watching YouTube videos and they're attending seminars and, you know, buying those $27 courses, right? They keep gathering more information, keep gathering more knowledge, but they don't equate into results because they're not reprogramming the subconscious mind. And the only reliable way that you can change your subconscious mind is through constant, spaced repetition. It's reading the same thing over and over again, writing it out repeatedly. It is listening to the same messages over and over and over again. Now, I don't read a lot of books. I read a handful of books over and over and over again. And it's not because I want to add more information to my head. I don't need any more knowledge in there. Okay, I've got loads. I've got more than I need to get where I want to go. I am more interested in what I do more of. Your conscious mind controls and stores what you know, but it's your subconscious mind that makes you do what you know. Okay? And here's a great example, and maybe you guys can relate. Imagine you're someone who's overweight and you want to get into shape, okay? And you do all your research and you buy a diet plan and maybe you get yourself some new gym gear to motivate you to go to the gym, right? Consciously in your conscious mind, you know how to lose this weight. It's not brand new information, you know, and you believe it, like you know, okay? Then you call over to your friend's house and they're like, Linda, would you like a slice of cake? And you know, by taking the action and eating that cake, you're not going to get the results that you want in life. But what do we do? Because we're humans and I haven't got around to reprogram my subconscious mind. You know, I'm going to eat that piece of cake, right? And I want you to think about this in your life, okay? Have a little reflection in your own life. You already know how to improve your results, your income, or how to get, how to achieve something in your personal life. You already know how to do it. You already know how to move closer to your goals, to the results that you want. Yet we are not doing it. And the reason you're not doing it is because you have not reprogrammed subconscious part of your mind. That's in control of all your physical actions. It is your subconscious mind. This is really powerful information. And I'm going to share with you something that Bob taught us, and we all have to do as coaches and consultants with Bob, is get yourself a little goal card. And I do this with my clients. We get a wee goal card, and I want you to write on this card in the present tense exactly what you want. So if you want a new income in your life, you would write, I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn 20 grand a month, right? Whatever it is you want to earn per month. If you are someone who is looking to, attract a new partner in life, you could write, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am in a loving and fulfilling relationship with this amazing person. Or what else? If you've got a dream home, you've got a goal to have a dream home, build a dream home, buy a dream home, you could write, I am so happy and grateful now that I live in my dream home by the sea. Whatever it is you want, write it in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now. And this is the real important part, is that I want you to carry this card everywhere you go. And every chance you get, take it out and read it. Read it out loud, read it into yourself. Close your eyes, really think about it, imagine it being true. And then you do that just repeatedly. So what happens when you're doing this process over and over and over again? You start changing the way you talk to yourself. You start changing your thoughts. And it's over time, this repetition, and your thoughts, they start producing new emotions, right? And these new emotions, because you're constantly thinking about what you want rather than focusing on what you don't want, right? Over time, through repetition, these thoughts, you start getting new emotions and you start to feel happy. Maybe you feel excited about life. right? You're starting to feel good. And when your emotions change, your vibration changes in your body. Now, you can't see this vibration in your body, okay? But they are expressed through your actions. So you're going to see your actions. And it's those actions that produce your new results, your new reality that you're looking for. This is really powerful, and I encourage you to listen to this again. Listen to it a few times. Remember what I said. Constant spaced repetition is how you're going to reprogram this subconscious part of your mind. Okay? Now, what I've shared today is like, I'm just scratching the surface. There's so much more to this, and it's all amazing. And if you want to get free access to my 2 hour workshop, it's called Thinking into Results. It's going to really help you see exactly how you've been shaping your life and your results that you're getting, how it's shaping your decisions that you make, the progress that you're making, and it's going to show you how you can start changing all of that today. Okay? I'm going to show you how to take yourself from where you are to where you want to be. And if you go to the link in the description of this video, you can get access right now. Commit, you're going to sit down, give it your full attention, and make sure you download that workbook because there's so much gold in it, and it's the tool that's going to help you implement all of those changes today. And I will see you in the inside.